Hi everyone, it's Deb from Project Life, Deb's Way again. I've got something a little bit different. I normally use 12 by 12 papers to do my scrapbooking layouts, but I did get a 6 by 6 pad from the 13 Arts from the Blue Magnolia line. I didn't have any ephemera with this at all, I just had the pad. And to give you a clue, you have to excuse my cutting directions, but you get 12 sheets of different repeated twice. So when you're doing your Project Life, because you have your 6 by 6, you have a 2-inch strip across the top of the paper, and you also have your 6-inch card. So it is quite easy, and the great thing about the 13 Arts paper is, I'll see if I can actually show you, they actually have some of the flowers, but they're full size as they are on the 12 by 12. Some companies, they just shrink their papers, and I know that Minte don't and 13 Arts don't. They have them nearly full size. So consequently, when you're cutting out your ephemera and things, it is a good size to use. Just a little hint with that. Now I'll show you very quickly the layout that we'll be making this month. And as you can tell, I have actually cut out some beautiful blue flowers. Here they are. And I didn't have any of the blue paper, the correct colour for this particular layout, because it is a very unusual, sort of a light turquoisey blue. So I just got some Tim Holtz inks, put them onto my media mat, and I just got some paper, dunked my paper into the blue to get the correct, and then I cut my flowers from that card. And the little beads in that, I just put a little bit of glue and I put some of those micro beads on there. You can actually see the little beads there, and that actually made the flowers. And as I said, I did introduce a little bit of gold into this layout. There we go. I'll try and get the light out of it for you. I'll give you a more close-up view before we make our layout. Now I will actually go through and show you the papers and all the things that I use with this. Now this pad from 13 Arts is still available, because I checked on the internet, so you can still get it from places. But once again, if you haven't got that particular pad, have a look at the papers I've used and get something close, and then we can make our cards during the process. Now I do all the cards from start to finish, so that you have a full layout at the end of the process video. So I do hope you enjoy making your cards with me and follow me along. So let's get on with making our cards. Here's a sneak peek at the layout that you'll be doing in this tutorial. I've popped some photographs here of the birds that we feed at home, and the bird that's actually in the house next to the cat is called Billy, and he actually comes in and waits at our fridge for his food. They are quite tame, and they do virtually nearly come up to us and hand feed. So with no further ado, I'll show you the papers that we'll be using and etc., and then get on with the tutorial. This is card number 1, which of course is what I class as my eye candy card, which gives me my title and what's going to follow. So for this card I have got, I know it's very hard to see, but navy blue cardstock, and all of my pieces of paper I am using the 4 by 6 of the navy blue. I've also stamped up a sentiment, which I'm going to put back onto the navy blue card as well, so we can attach that straight off. I'm not going to distress the edges or anything, because I want it to really pop. So we'll pop that onto the blue cardstock and put that to one side. Now my card here has come from, because I'm using a 6x6, I have just cut my page straight across, knowing that this is a 6x4, and then I trimmed it down 1/7 of an inch by 1/7 of an inch on top and the side, so that I have a slight border to my card, and I've distressed around the edges as I normally do, and I'm distressing quite heavily so it's quite gungy. Now that goes on to my card, so I have that slight border running around. Now this piece here, you can actually cut from here. I use both of these cutouts, so you have this area here which you can actually cut this full piece out. I actually did it with scraps, so mine has a piece taken out because I want this to sit across just down from the middle like that. So I'm going to attach these two pieces. Making sure that my flower is sitting at the top. So I'll bring that just in. You can always do this if you're covering up, is to use some scrappy bits of card. It works just as well. So I'm going to put that down. Now this one here, I have got a lot going underneath, so I'm only going to take one piece of my tape off and pop that down with an even border from side and bottom. Now this particular piece here I have cut out, and I haven't distress the edges, which I will quickly, very lightly, just go around and get that done. Now I've put a piece of mounting tape at the top and just tape at the bottom. So we'll take our tapes off. Now with this one, I'm going to just poke that underneath and pop that up so it remains flat here but is raised here. And that's the one good thing with these pads, is you do have a lot of cutouts and they are normal size, and the cutout came from this piece here. Now my ephemera, I've just got a die cut which I've chopped in half, and that is going to go here, sort of uneven, so I'll poke like that so you've got bits everywhere. Now you will need some glue for this, so just put a few bits of glue to attach everything down and poke it underneath. Like that, and attach down. And unfortunately I put this flower down, but you can grab that little bit of tape and pull it out and then stick that down, then put your flower on. There we go. Now we've managed. Now if you've got any bits of glue, you can get a tissue or a piece of cloth and get most of that glue off, but there is a lot going on there. Now I hand die cut some flowers, and I've just put a little bit of glue with some of the little micro beads in the center. I couldn't get the blue colour I wanted for my flowers, so I have just used a distress ink and inked them and put a bit of white in the centre, which has given me my flowers. And then I've just crunkled them up to give me a little bit of a crinkled look. And what I'm going to do with these is just layer them on, and because they're nice and flat, they don't give too much height to your layout. So just have a bit of a fiddle and work your leaves, and then when you're happy with your layout, you can actually stick them down. What I tend to do is I hold my flowers and stick my leaves down first. And that'll give you an idea of where your flower placements will be. Once you've got your leaves in, I would actually go and stick your larger of your flowers in first, and then place the rest once that's in place. So we'll just pop some of these in. I just thought the little bit of pink adds to the little pink beading I did. And very, very quickly with this layout, we've got our first cards. Finished. And how gorgeous do those flowers look on that card. So we'll get on to our next card. Now for card number 1, I also, as an extra, I've put 2 little bits of glue in the top and the bottom corner, and I've got these lovely little half moon shaped beads. Now I've just popped them into the corners just to add that little bit of gold into my layout. Card number 2, once again, has got your 6x4 in your navy blue, and then I've cut a 5 7/8 by 3 7/8 in this pattern from my pad, and that is going to go centered onto my card. So I've just got that tiny border. Now I've got a 3x4 photo mat, which I have cut a 3 1/8 by a 4 1/8, just to give me that 1/16 of an inch border. And we'll just pop that on top so that you've got an even border all the way around for your photograph. Now with this particular one, I just got some scrap card that I had left over from here, and I've just cut a little piece there, and that measurement for that is just a bit smaller than 4 inches by 1 1/4. I think that is, yes, it's 1 1/4 by 3 3/4 to give you this. Now I'm going to put my photo mat like that. This one is going to go in the middle of that space that is left. So pop your photo mat down first. And just bring it down a little bit from the top and center it. Then this piece will be centered in between that gap. And I've distressed the edges on these cards. Then we are going to pop our ephemera, which once again, as I remember the print, that is this one here, but I've cut this piece off, but keep that piece because you might use it for something else. So it's just this flower here, because you didn't want that full top, because otherwise it would go over your photograph. So now I'm going to put that towards one corner so it's not too central. Making sure that there is no glue attached so you can get your photograph in there. And there's card number 2 finished. Card number 3 is very, very simple. You've just got your 6x4 in your navy blue, and then I've trimmed off just a little bit all round so that you get your tiny border all around your photo mat. So you can nearly fit a true 6x4 photograph in your layout. And there's card number 3. This is card 4, and this is cut from the pad. When you cut this sheet, you need to cut your sheet widthways to actually get the right size. So I've got a 4x6, and in actual fact when I measured this, I've got my 4 inches, but I haven't actually really got my 6 inches. So when it's in the pad, it's going to be a wee bit smaller. If you're worried about that, I would just put a 6x4 blue card behind, and then you would get your border. But as it is, I'm not particularly fussed. I don't mind if it's that tad smaller. Now what I'm going to do here is I have got my, just measure this, 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 photo mat. So I've got a 3 3/8 by 4 3/8 blue photo mat. So that is going to go up in the top, the same as card number 2, just like that. And then your true 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 will go on with just that tiny border all the way around. Now I've also cut a tiny bit of the wood grain, except I had to join mine, except you would cut yours fully from the grey wood grain. And I want that all the way across the card, so you actually put that just in the middle like that. And I've got that round the wrong way. You wouldn't have to worry about this. but I do need to correct that because I want to hide my join. Now I have got a stamped word enjoy, and I've put that on a little bit of foam tape, and I've cut a backing that measures just a little border all the way around the word, and just pop that on raised. Now that is going to go here. Now my flower will sit here underneath, so I've just got some ordinary tape, making sure that none of my tape goes over my photograph. And then the lovely little spare bit of flower I'm going to tuck down the bottom, and I'm going to pop that on some small little, got some dots here. I'm going to put that on a bit of foam tape. On the bottom, and then put my enjoy word in place. And trim any bits that are hanging off. Just trim them off. And there we have card number 4 complete. Now we're on to our plain photo cards, and I have got my 4 inch by 3 inch card, and then I've got my 3 7/8 by 2 7/8 photo mat, and all I have done is just centered that so you have that tiny little bit of a border all round, and there's your 2 photo mats done. Now we'll finish off our small 3x4 eye candy cards, and this is one of the first ones, card 5B. So I've got my 3x4 in the blue navy blue cardstock. Now this particular piece here, I wanted to put some foiling in. So I have used, there it is there, this card here, and I've actually put some foiling onto my cards. So I've just cut my 3 7/8 by 2 7/8 from there, and then I just got some of my tape, pop my tape down, taken it off, and then I've got some foil sheeting, and you just pounce it up and down and you'll get your foiling like that. It's a quick cheats way of getting some foiling onto your papers. So what will do here is I will just pop this on, and I've distressed around the edges as all of my cards. I then cut this tiny piece here from, it's this piece here, just here, and the size of that is 1 3/4 by 2 1/2, and this particular little bit of card, because it looks very rug and ready there where you're finishing your tape off, I've done the old trick of just popping this card over the top to hide some of the workings of what I've done. Now I've used a piece of my bric-a-brac here, which I'm going to pop on the top here just to introduce some more of that gold. And I've got the two small flowers that came from the cut apart sheet, which I'm just going to pop here and here. And I've got one of the beautiful blue flowers, a couple of the pinks, and some leaves. So just have a play around with these till you get them how you like it before we start sticking these down. And as normal, I sort of move the bits across and get my glue dot some on, these sort of grid dies are fantastic for doing a little bit of extra sort of underneath work. Pop your two little flower stems in place first before you start adding all of the other things. Put your biggest flower in first. Then you can tuck your leaves in. I'm getting stuck here. Then just pop your pinkies in, sort of layer them underneath. And straight away you've got a beautiful little feature card done and finished. This is our last 3x4 card 5D. I've got my 3x4 in the blue, and then from that card that had the blue flowers I've just cut some of this print, which is 3 7/8 by 2 7/8, just to give that little border again, to keep that theme working through. I've distressed the edges, and that's going in centered. Then I cut a small piece of the blue model card, and the measurement for that is 2 1/4 by 1 1/4, and I cut a bit of blue card so that that will fit in the square like this. So we will just pop that in opposite the side of this card. We'll lay it on the opposite side. Then I've distressed the edges of this blue card, and that then builds on top of that card like that. Now I've cut from the cut apart sheet one of the blue flowers, and that is going to go right in the center of the card once you've put your bit of your gridding in. Now your gridding, just lay that to one side, just attach that. Then this particular one, just going to sort of layer that into the middle over the print. Hold that down for a few seconds. Now we're going to put our flowers in the bottom here. So I'm going to put my larger flower in first, then layer my leaf, and that one I'm going to pop underneath here. Pop that in. So layer the other one on top and pop my little pink one on the side. And there we have our second 3x4 card complete. So this is our eye candy card on the right hand side, card number 8, and I've cut a 5 7/8 by 3 7/8 card from the paper that has the Eiffel Tower on. Let me get it for you. Here it is here, and I've just cut from the top. I've used that top bit up here. Now I'm just going to put that onto my card. I've distressed it, centered, and from the second set of the writing card I have cut a 2 7/8 by 3 7/8, and it's a 3x4 navy cardstock card. That is so, once again, and I've distressed that card. I've just got that tiny border once again, and this is going to sit on the right hand side of the card. Sort of even from the top to bottom with just a 1/4 inch border. I have got a Moments to Remember stamp that I've done, and I've just cut, stuck it to some navy blue card and just gone around the edges to get a border, and that I've actually put onto some foam tape, and that is going to go down in this bottom corner so that you can see the nice flower at the top. Now I've also got some of the beautiful that die cut that I've cut, so we're just going to pop that on our written paper, and as you can tell, you can actually see you're gelling one side to the other side with a similar type of card but different, and it just makes your layouts look that little bit better having the same on one side to the other side. Now I have got two beautiful big flowers, I've got one small one and a leaf, and I've got some more of those lovely domes to put on. So I'm going to put one of my big flowers, one at the top and one down the bottom. Then I'm going to fill in the space by popping my bits in. Put some of my pink ones in. Like so. And then I will put, last but not least, I'll put my little domes in. Okay, so for these I will get my glue and I will put my leaf in first. Because then I can work all my other elements on top. Hold those for a few seconds to get them to stick. Then I can pop my pink flowers sort of underneath, layered. And sort of just push everything down and let the glue do its work. It does help actually if you put a reasonable amount of glue on them. Now I'm going to put these little balls, I'm going to put two down here, same as I did on the other side. We've got 2 and 2. Pick up my little domes like that, and as you will tell, you've got 2 on this side and you also have the same on the other side, so that your layout matches. So there we have our eye candy card, and what you can do here, you can put your date or your label of what your layout's about. Like I would put the date here, and then I've also got a journal card where you can put the rest of the details on, but the date would look fabulous there. Now we're going to do card number 7, and with these pads they're pretty amazing because they always repeat. So you get halfway through your pad, and so you always get 2 sheets of your paper. So from the second sheet of the blue, I've cut a 6 by 4, and then I have cut a 3 3/4 by 3 1/2. Now your 3 3/4 is to go down here. Now always make sure when you're doing wood grain that you have your wood grain running the same direction all the way through your layout. It's not a definite must, but it does look better, the finished product. So we're just going to pop that down with an equal border all the way down onto the left hand side. Then I've got my 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 by 3 1/4 photo mat, so you can fit a true 3 by 4 photo, and I have just cut a 3 3/7/8 and a 2 7/8 card, so you've got that tiny little border all the way around, which just makes your photographs with this particular layout pop. And we're going to pop that with a similar border all the way on the right hand side. And once we have done that, we are going to just slide that flower which we have got from the blue writing card, and we've just cut it down enough to fit in. Now because that's slid underneath, I am just going to put a little bit of glue just to attach that, wiggle it under. Now here I have just got one of the other little bits, and I've put a bit of mounting tape on that. And I'm just going to pop that on top to give me a bit of layering. One very simple card done and finished. Now here's card number 9, and once again from that stripe paper I have cut and done my taping with gold foil paper to get this effect, and this is going on the card that I've taken from the paper pad, which is this one here, and I've cut it so it goes straight across, so the words are going acrossways. Now I am going to put this card, which measures, it's 3 3/4 by 3 1/2. Once again you need your 3 3/4 on the way down, and I've made sure my stripes are running acrossways the same as the stripes on the other side to match. So we are going to pop that onto the card, and I've distressed both of these cards. Now I haven't put all the gold foil this way because it is slightly covered with a photo card, so but I've made sure I've got the bottom ones fully covered, because our photo mat will go like that, so you just see the bit of gold at the top and the bottom. Now the photo mat, the white is 4 2/8 and 3 2/8, and the actual white cardstock is 4 3/8 by 3 3/8. Sorry, I think I've got that round the wrong way. The white card is 4 2 7/8, and the navy is 4 3/8. It's just so that you've got that 1/16 of an inch border all around your card there. So that gets popped down. Now I have got some of my gridding again, which I want to pop just on my card like so, and I'm going to get my glue and just pop some of my glue down. And just pop that sort of up the top part. I then have my big flower, my small flower, a little bit of pink, a spray of leaves, so I might move these down a bit. And once you're happy with how it's sort of placed, you can glue everything down. This particular layout is quite easy once you've got your actual cutting done, because there wasn't much fussy cutting. Most of it was from die cuts. Easy one. I've just cut my 6x4 in one of the cards that were in the pack that was a dark blue to save on blue cardstock, so I'd have enough to do my little squares and everything. So I thought I'd use this particular one because it's very, very close to the navy blue. I then have cut my card similar to card number 1. I've cut a 5 7/8 by 3 7/8, and I've just distressed around the edges. And as I said, you've got 2 of these cards in that paper pack, so you can actually do that. Now put the flower down into the right hand bottom corner. Now with my photo mat, I have got a 3x4 white photo mat, and I've put that on a 4 1/8 by 3 1/8 card, just so that I get that border all around. So if you had a 3x4, you would just take off that 1/8 of an inch on one side and at the top, and it will fit beautifully. So we're going to put that onto the side of our card with an even border all the way around. Now this particular one here I've got on mounted tape. Make sure that you don't have your mounted tape on your photo so you can actually get your photo in. So there we have that, and then I've got this tiny little bit I took out from the cut apart sheet, and that will be laid flat. And I just want that sort of, so it gives you a bit of depth there. And there's card number 8 finished. These are our other 2 photo mats for our pictures, and I've got my 3x4 in the navy and my 2 7/8 by 3 7/8 in my white there, and that's going directly on the top. And these 2 will go so that we have our 2 photo mats. Now for this particular one, 10B, I have cut a 3 7/8 by 2 7/8 card with the Eiffel Tower. Now for the girls that can't get the packs that have the 2 3x4s by 3x4s, you can actually get the ones that have the full card. So what you can do there is just cut your blue 6x4, and then that one will fit just on, and it looks like 2 separate cards for when you're putting it into your album. So now I'm going to attach this one down, and I've distressed the edges. So we'll just pop that in like so. And I've got a lovely what a day journaling card here. So I've just cut enough blue to give me that 1/16 of an inch border all the way around, and I'm going to pop that. I'm just going to work this out here. It. So we're going to pop that up into the top corner with an even border all the way around. Then this one, I'm going to put that over the date. I didn't like the date showing. So I'll just pop that on like so. Then I'm going to put 2 tiny dobs of glue and pop two of those lovely domes into place, and there we have your photograph card and a description box for writing what your layout's about. Right, this is our last of our cards, and then our full layout's finished. Once again, I've joined my two cards to show you that if you're using a 6x4 you can actually do this technique. So I have popped my photo mat there, and I've got a 3x4 here, or you could cut your full 6x4 card. Now I have got my 3 7/8 by 2 7/8, and I've distressed the edges, and I've used the spare bit of card that was left, or you can cut it from the spare sheet that you have. That goes in centered like that. Then I have got here a piece of the blue card that was left over, and it worked out at 1 3/4 by 3 1/2, and I've just cut a piece 3 3/4 by 2 inches on there, and I want this to go just inside here with a little border all the way around. Then this card goes on the top like so. Then I have a floral piece here that I want to pop down into the center, and that was from the cut apart sheet, the second one that you have. So I'm just going to pop that on the bottom. I've got some of my grid which I'm going to pop up the top, I've decided. So I've just lifted that flower so I can get my grid underneath. I'm not going to put it straight, I'm just going to pop that unevenly. Then I have got my flowers here, which I'm just going to quickly tear my leaves off, pop my leaf in. I'm going to bring them further down, I think. So I can see more of that goldy colour, and pop my pinks in. So now I'll just glue those down. There we are, just make sure everything's all battened down. The glue really attaches. And there we have our last card finished for our layout. Now I'll give you a sneak peek in the next shot of the finished layout. So here's the finished layout, completely finished with all the photographs attached and etc. I do hope you enjoyed this tutorial and will join me for the future ones that I have coming up. And please don't forget to subscribe and like my channel, because that way you'll actually get notifications when I have my new layouts put up on YouTube. So until next time, keep crafting. Bye.